All right, everyone, let's go ahead and get started on our webinar talking about marketing to fire departments. I'm going to try and make this as straight to the point as possible, so that way we're not going down too many different side roads. And I'm going to go ahead and jump in right now as we have more people joining us and getting into the Zoom video conference. This is being recorded, and I will actually also post this online. So that way, if you guys want to go back and reference this, you can. And also, if you do have any questions, just feel free to go ahead and throw that in the group chat. And I will get to those when I can, or maybe towards the end of the webinar. All right. Starting off, what we're going to cover. For anyone who doesn't know, Restoration Digital Marketing, just a quick snippet on us and why we're specifically covering marketing to fire departments, even though we are a digital marketing company. What this campaign and program is not, the requirements of it, the plan, the execution, the results, and a quick recap. As I mentioned, we're going to try and stick to the points here. Who we are, Restoration Digital Marketing is a digital marketing firm that was born from a restoration company. The company has been around for more than 30 years and was in DKI for more than 20. I've been in the restoration industry myself for nearly 10 years now and an in-house marketer. So I'm familiar with marketing to fire departments as well as every other type of channel and vertical as an in-house marketer. We would be familiar with that in your local area, whether it's agents, adjusters, plumbers, etc. And the reason that we're covering this topic first, we actually want to do a series of these, but we actually threw this out to a Facebook group. I believe it was the NORP group in Facebook, and just put out a quick, simple poll. Hey, we're going to cover some free marketing webinars. What do you want us to cover? Put in a couple options in there, allowed people to put in their own options. And by far the number one was marketing to fire departments. So great. We're happy to kind of discuss what we do and the success that we have here with our restoration company. As a little bit of background, this campaign is not just us. I don't know how many people are necessarily using it, but we actually got it from UDK, Matt Wright. I've known Matt for a while. If there's any DKI people in here, Matt Wright, I believe, is now the COO of DKI. So we've been doing this for a while, and it's not only just us. So this can work in other markets, and that's kind of why I put that there as well. And we're not selling anything, so at the end of this is not a pitch to sign us for anything, buy anything from us. Our mission when we started Restoration Digital Marketing is to help out the restoration industry. And I think one of the ways we can do that is just help open up and explore other marketing campaigns and ideas that work for us that you guys might be able to implement for yourself. What this campaign is not, it's not a quick overnight lead generation program. We love the idea of that, but in reality, the best ones for any organization, it's not going to be some kind of quick overnight success. It's not fire chasing, which is probably more in line with a quick overnight lead generation. And this is not 1-800-BOARD-UP. So the requirements, some of this is going to seem really, really straightforward and really simple, but personnel, time, and money. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Obviously, you want to have a strategic example and a strategic plan ahead of you, which is what we're going to talk about. But when it all comes down to it, it just takes personnel, time, and money. If you have a business development rep, sales rep in place, then this person can probably implement this for you. Great. You probably already have a leg up. Timing, I would guess that depending on your market, this could take as little as 10 hours per week after initial ramp up, just kind of more in a maintenance kind of plan. But just trying to paint a picture. Now, the market that we're in, which we'll get to later, is significantly different than a lot of other markets, so keep that in mind. And then money is definitely a big variable, but of course you have to pay the person, the personnel. If you already have that on staff, then that's a huge, then that's not a huge cost that you might not have to add to the budget. And there's a couple other things that we'll get to, but overall, the money compared to the results is pretty minimal. So the plan comes with two parts. Again, pretty straightforward here. We're going to offer a free board up, and that's a secondary plan. And then we're going to offer a fire book, a free fire book, and that is the primary. That's the crux of this, getting in with fire departments. I'm going to do my best here to break down both of these, and specifically the fire book, because that is the goal here with getting in with these fire departments. We want to add a value added benefit, right, to the fire departments. You have to treat it the same way you would treat any other market. One example that I could use, if you're familiar with marketing to commercial facilities, you might offer a emergency response program, some kind of ERP program of some sort. And that program is the stereotypical value add benefit, because it is, you go into the facility, to the facility manager, you offer something at no cost or little cost. In return for very little, you're just looking for the phone call. And in return, you go through the facility, you do a site evaluation, you take photos, maybe you collect that information for them in a nice package that you either get back to them, or you have an online platform. And that's a perfect example of, that's your value proposition. So in the case with fire departments, this is what our value proposition is. It's a free board up to them, not a referral, and the fire book. So for the fire book, it's important to understand that this is a service to the fire departments and not a referral. If you hear a lot that, city individuals and fire departments cannot refer out, that is obviously an easy way for fire departments to get you to not come back. But the goal here is not for them to refer you to the homeowner to do the board up, but it's to get them on board that they are using you as a service. The fire department is, and you're okay if they use 2 or 3 companies. That's fine as well, because you're willing to split 1/3 of all board ups and get your men on the site of a fire, if that's better than 0. And just like a city individual at City Hall might have a water damage, they're not going to go out and put that through a bid process. In these emergency moments, you'll hear a lot of companies say they have agreements, or they have a working relationship with the facility managers at City Hall or at these municipal buildings. And in the middle of emergency, they get called directly. They go out and do it. And it's a similar way with the fire departments. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to get them off the fire site and help them out by offering to do the board up for them. So here's some of the ways that it helps the fire department / a couple rebuttal points. Now, every fire department's a little different. Maybe more rural you get, the more open they might be. And of course, more of the city fire departments might be a little bit more difficult. But this lowers the cost for the fire departments. They have to spend their own budget for materials and their own time with their firefighters or whoever they're going on staff to actually do the board up themselves. And this is a big sticking point to them, because they all have a budget that obviously is not large enough in most cases, depending on the city that you're in. So this is a big sticking point, is that, hey, you call us out, we'll do the board up for you, no cost. It saves on your budget, saves on your men's time. Proper board up, firefighters are great at obviously putting out the fire, not necessarily trained in the best at actually doing a proper board up. That also goes in with liability. Firefighters doing a board up on the side of a house, on top of a roof, and getting injured in any way is a liability to the city, the municipality. Or if they don't properly board up and vandals come back and raid the house, These are all things to factor in for the fire department and the fire for you to discuss with the fire chief. That again, we're not asking you to refer us to the homeowner. This is a service to you, the fire department. You call us out, we do the board up for you at no cost. We leave. It's also important here to understand with the board up that when you're offering the service, you're doing it for any type of board up, because in all senses that you are looking to get on site, but you are also looking to give back to the community. So if the fire chief calls you, and we've been on plenty of these before, it's a trailer, it's definitely destroyed, it's non-salvageable, they just need you to board up the windows, you're going out there, you're losing money. There's no way around it. Whatever a board up costs, planks of wood and men out there for a couple hours will be not too much. But these are the types of instances where you might get called initially. And these are the ones that you still do. You still do them all, including the trailers that are burned, because that could be a test to you. That could be a test to leading up to bigger opportunities. Okay, the fire book. And I'm going to try and break this down as easily as I can here. There's a lot of segments to the fire book. Overall, though, the fire book is a pamphlet that's filled with information on what to do after the fire. Now, many fire departments have some kind of variation to this. Usually they might be in a 3-ring binder, kind of big. They might show it to the homeowner after fire, but they can't leave it behind. Again, because of budget, they probably don't have something that's nice and sleek, which is what we want to make for them, that they can hand to the homeowners afterwards. When you talk to a lot of these fire chiefs and these fire departments, one thing that you do understand is that they want to help out the homeowners. That is definitely in their nature and something that they feel strongly about. And that's one of the sticking points that you can also talk to them as well, is that, hey, I understand that you want to help out these homeowners. You don't want to leave them high and dry. They want to perform a board up so their house doesn't get further damage from weather elements or vandals. And they also want to leave them with information. So this is 2 great points that you can help them out, that they're not really doing the best job that they can, again, specifically in rural areas for sure. But we've even talked to some cities that could be doing a much better job. So what's in the fire book? This is a pretty long list here. This could be some, all. You could add more to this. Some of these topics could be very in-depth, but you kind of get the idea that there's a lot of information in here. And this is one of the points on why a fire department typically doesn't have a very good fire book to hand out. There's a lot of information here in a lot of different categories that they're not very familiar with. Again, they train and exercise on putting out fires, not necessarily looking up insurance information, salvage tips, tax information, designing and printing a booklet. So this is where you come in. Again, this will be recorded and put online. Moving forward, here are just some examples. Here are just some JPEG shots of a fire book that we have. This is the front of the booklet, and what you'll see here, and we'll get into, is it's 100% branded, book by book, to the fire department. And that's the number one selling point. This is really what gets them going. Here's just a couple internal pages. It's pretty simple and pretty straightforward, but at the same time, it is so dramatically better than what they currently have. And in many, many, many cases, they have nothing at all. This is what it looks like in hand, just kind of show a hard copy. It's not overly large. Again, it's 100% branded. It looks clean. It looks like there's professional photos of the actual fire department. Just another photo shot of inside the booklet. So setting up the fire book, we have the introduction. This is where, as I was talking earlier about having a business development rep, sales rep on staff. You're simply walking into the fire station, hopefully with an example of another fire book, explaining that you already do this with other fire departments. Now, obviously, your first one, you're not going to have that example, but you could, what we did was we talked about how this is done across the country. Another restoration company works with other fire departments. You might want to start with the smallest and most rural fire department in your area before going to other ones, just to see if you can get one on board, one printed, and then you have an example to go to all the other local fire departments. So that would be one strategy that you have. But in this instance, it's very, pounding the pavement, just walking into fire departments. And from our experience, you'd be very surprised of how many competitors are just simply not doing that. Everyone's walking into insurance agents, yet that is decreasing in leads and sales while it's still potentially very profitable. But no one's walking into fire departments and no one's offering them a great value proposition. So you really set yourself apart because there's not too many people walking in here. You have them complete an authorization form, which I'm going to show you. This just kind of helps legitimize the process that you've done this with other people and you have a process in place. This is not a fly-by-night scenario where you're just trying to hawk books away and you're trying to get called onto a fire. Then you take on-site photos. You talk about the photos. You talk about the 100% branding. Again, if you have a booklet in hand, it's a lot easier to show them the final product. But this really gets them going. I mean, if you've walked into any fire department, they love showing you around. They love showing their equipment, their trucks, everything, their station. They're very proud of it, and they should be. And you talk to them about having a photo shoot with them. It's great. Now, we just have a simple Canon camera. We don't hire a professional. We just have someone in our office that's pretty handy with a decent $500 camera. You could do this on an iPhone if you really wanted to, or you can invest a little bit and get a decent camera for a few $100 and just go snap some photos. That's it. It doesn't have to be anything more special than that. Then you have to, of course, design the book. You have to swap out the numbers that are going to be important for that local area to that fire department, swap out the images, their emblem, and anything else that they might want. And then you have to print the book. We typically print a pretty low quantity amount, 25, 50 for the biggest fire departments. We want to be able to come back multiple times throughout the year, just check on them, see how things are going. But also it's a perfect reason of, are you out of your fire books? Do you still have some more? Most of the fire stations that we work with just put it right in all the trucks. It's just sitting right there in the truck. So when they go out to a fire, they go ahead and after everything's taken care of, one of them might be talking to a homeowner. They just hand it to the homeowner. And kind of keeping that low quantity amount allows you to have that ongoing kind of relationship building, which we're going to talk to more. That's the whole goal with this. And delivering the book, following up. That is the process of setting up the fire book. Now, this could take less than 30 days if you get a super eager fire department and they're just completely gung-ho. This could take several months just because they're a little bit unsure. They might need to talk to some board members, depending on the size of the fire department. But overall, it's not a very difficult process. And from each fire department to each fire department, it might change in terms of the process from start to finish. Here's the after the fire booklet authorization. You're basically just gathering information on the fire department. Again, you're getting them to talk about themselves. You get an idea of how many fires they go on per year, what they want included in the fire book. And then you make sure, and you even give them the option to say, hey, if you don't want any resemblance of our logo or name in there, then we'll remove it. We have a couple instances, including a logo on the back that says that we had a partnership with the fire department. We've only had one fire department have us remove that. And then you just give them that ability. And the worst case scenario is you remove that, but you still have an ongoing relationship with them because then you're printing the book for them, you're going out there, you're giving it to them, you can follow up with them. And then worst case scenario, you only have one generic line item in the contacts page that says, emergency board up that the homeowners can call. Here are just some examples of photos that we took, just to kind of show you how simple and straightforward they are. This is a much nicer or more extravagant one. We have a really, really big brewery out here in Asheville, North Carolina. Fire department went out to the brewery, parked it out front, and we got to do that, which was great. And again, just a great bonding time when you're spending an hour. Usually it's about an hour for the photos. In this case, it was a little bit more. But, when you're spending with the fire departments, they even put on their full suits, get in front of the fire truck, looks like they're doing stuff, but they're not. They're just there to help take photos for you for this fire book. Simple photos straight on, inside the station, outside the station, just a little of everything. And then those are the photos that you'll use to go ahead and edit and design the fire book that you'll then go out and hand to them. So we discussed the first three parts. For the last parts, which I kind of already discussed, this might be from obviously a design agency, or you might have someone in-house that might be a little bit nifty. It doesn't have to be crazy. Your local print shop should be able to take care of this for you. And I think I've kind of touched on these right here. So creating the relationship is the ultimate goal. The fire book is probably the crux of that relationship. But just to revisit the process on creating the relationship and some of the levels and things that you can do along the way. So you'll obviously have your regular visits. Anyone familiar with, going into insurance agents' offices or commercial facilities, assisted living facilities, hotels, etc., understands this process. You go in there, you introduce yourself, you ask to talk to the fire chief, and then that's when your value proposition comes out. You do this program for fire departments, you do free board up, you do fire book, you show them the fire book, and you kind of go into your spiel. They also have a lot of association luncheons. That's a great time to get in front of a lot of different fire chiefs or firefighters at one moment. Sponsor the fire luncheon and just get a quick 5 minutes to speak. And again, you can have the same spiel in front of several different people. You can get them at your facility. We've done that several times. If you've got a good training room, get hosted at your place, talk for a quick 5 minutes, get them in front of you, talk to them during lunch. A great time to, again, put yourself in front of that entire market, the fire departments. Once we get a little bit further along with the fire departments, some you'll have more of a better relationship or not, even maybe before a fire or especially after a fire. We'll start doing department dinners with them. Nothing more than they appreciate than you giving back. Again, what our experience has been is that they've been really appreciative. So you typically around the holidays, we either do a Thanksgiving or a Christmas dinner with them. We just cater in some kind of local food, barbecue, and just sit down with the guys and thank them. A lot of times we're creating a more of a specific relationship with the fire chief, but you really want to get in front of all the firefighters that are going out there on a more regular basis, and this is a great opportunity for that. And also a great opportunity to show that the fire chief's on board because he'll be at the dinner. He'll most likely say a couple words of appreciating your restoration company and so on and so forth. Of course, you have the setting up fire book. A great way, that could take several touches, several follow-ups with the purpose too. You're not just following up asking, have you been on a fire? You haven't sent me a fire. The goal here is you're just going through this process, asking nothing in return. And in the meantime, the fire department will be more willing to just call you. They're looking to help out the homeowner in distress. Challenge coins, which I'll show you a photo here. We did one for a fire department that sends us a lot of work, basically all their fires. And This is a very, very nice silver metal printed. It costs us probably about a little over $500 for about 50 of them. They don't have challenge coins. Your local fire departments, some may have some may not. This is something that the firemen will hold or firewomen will hold in their pockets as a challenge coin. We helped design this for them. We knew their 120 years was coming up, and then do a presentation with them. We did a little luncheon and presented this to the entire department, and just gave this to them. Again, we're spending money. We're giving them things that is of interest and that they appreciate. And challenge coins was something that they've always wanted, but they were never able to get because of budgeted reasons and so forth. So let's talk a little bit about results. The restoration company has a metro area population of around 425,000 to kind of give you an idea of what your market might look like comparatively. And 2019 so far, and now this is not all fires. This is fires specifically from fire departments, right? So this won't include online fires, agent fires, etc. In the middle of August, 938,000 invoice. 2018, a little bit of a down year, but still 400,000, and then 2017. So on average, we should have a year that's pretty close to or over $1 million with our market. We've got one person that does insurance agent sales and fire departments. And again, now we're a lot more efficient versus a ramp up, but we have nearly over 20 fire departments with their own fire books. So now it just becomes a process of following up, touching base, hosting a luncheon for everyone, doing 1 or 2 dinners for special fire departments, and then just keeping in touch and making sure they may or may not need their fire books. Conclusion, wrapping up. This is a campaign based on building a relationship. Your goal is to offer these items for free and literally at zero to no cost of asking for anything in return. I think that especially with these types of people, you don't want to necessarily be asking when your last fire was or et cetera. You can kind of ask that just by asking if they run out of fire books. And they'll kind of tell you, oh yeah, we just handed out a couple, etc. You'll be surprised of how many get handed out and that you might not get a call on, but it only takes one. I think we all know that with working with fires. So the goal is to build a relationship and to internally as a company mission is to just really help give back. So if this helps them and then they never use you in 2 years, we're still giving them a book. Because for us to print 25 books is like $50, and that's the least we could do. It doesn't require a full-time person, which is great, and has tremendous ROI just off of the results I showed you. The goal is to help the fire departments and ask nothing in return. On our website, restorationdigitalmarketing.com, we will have this entire layout in a blog post. Just posted it, so you can go back and reference everything that we just went over online, share with your group, etc. We wanted to make it as easily accessible to everyone as possible. Real quick, coming up, some future webinars. That we might throw in some online polls. Might be SEO, developing a marketing budget for your team, making a new restoration website, marketing campaigns to insurance agents. So those are some ideas that we have coming up as well. So keep an eye out for that. And I believe everyone here will be on our newsletter list regardless. Questions from the group. Anyone can throw anything in the group chat if they have any questions. That sums up the entire webinar on marketing the fire books, free board ups, and fire books. If anyone wants to get unmuted, they can just put their name in. I'll be happy to unmute you, and you can ask a question in front of the group through voice. What percentage is commercial fires? From Tara Hallmark. Hey, Tara. I would say that the percentage of fires would be specifically from the fire department, um, less than 10% that we've gotten. We've got a big apartment fire. That was a nice one, but I would say definitely less than 10%. Of course, so that might not that's 10% in terms of the number of fires, not necessarily the volume of sales. Any other questions here? And if anyone does have a future question, of course, you can reach me, which is contact@restorationdigitalmarketing.com, or I still have an email with First Restoration Services, the company, that we do this fire department marketing. And that's jeff@frs247.com. Either one, you can reach me. One more here. Let's see. Do you have any examples of the fire book you blind? You bind? I want to make sure I understand that one right, Harry. Examples of fire book as a PDF you're able to share. We've actually got, it's not the entire fire book, but I think that you essentially get the feel of every single page on that website. And I showed it a little bit earlier. Those were JPEGs off of a PDF. And it's on that website at restorationdigitalmarketing.com. We've got a little slideshow that shows a number of the pages. So you could easily hand that to probably any designer, and I can get you the dimensions on the books. That might be helpful. And you can basically just kind of, take a look at it. How many other restoration companies do you include in the fire book from Tyson? Holman, hey, Tyson. None. No other restoration companies. It's just us. And if a fire department wanted us to have another restoration company in there, and as long as they're handing out the fire book, I knew they were handing it out, at least in the very first turn, I'd probably do it. Again, just going back to would you rather have 1/3 of all board ups they get you on or none? So we don't do any, but we probably would look into it, especially on a first go round, and see if it was worth our while. All right, everyone. Well, if you do have any other future questions, again, hit me up online through email. Hope everyone enjoyed the presentation. You can find out more information from us at restorationdigitalmarketing.com. Thanks, and everyone have a good day.